in preparation for our time of meditation.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. And so let's just maintain this quietness that we have in this room right now. And if you're comfortable, keep your eyes closed. Let's begin with breath. We always begin with the breath. So take in a nice big deep breath all the way down into your tummy. And breathe it out. When you breathe in this time, breathe right into your heart space. And exhale out. And breathe in one more time, right into your heart space, lifting your heart up and opening it up. And exhale out. And so find your feet flat on the floor, grounded. Put your hands on your lap if that's what's comfortable for you. And lift your heart up. And as you breathe in and breathe out at your own pace, make each breath a breath of gratitude. Thank you for this opportunity to be here today for this church. Thank you. And so now I'd like you to bring your attention to your inner body. Bring your attention to any parts of your body that is tense, cramped up, hurting you. And allow the light that emanates from your heart to travel to those places. It could be your jaw. It could be you have a slight headache this morning. It could be your shoulders are tense and tight. It could be your lower back is comfortable. It could be anywhere in your body. Bring your attention from your heart down to these places. Send the light that you are. Send the light that pours in through the top of your head down to the places that require attention. Just surround those places with love, love, love. Be grateful that you have this opportunity to send light and love to those places. Now using the power of your imagination, the daily word of the day. Step out your back door be a chair waiting for you. Sit down in that chair. And let the eyes and the arms and the hands of your heart embrace these wildflowers. Each one of those wildflowers can, if you allow it, represent a person in your life who needs prayer, a place in your body that needs prayer. And you are there to give your prayers for your own body, for the body of another, or a situation. You're there to give those prayers to those wildflowers. And they're swaying gently in the breeze, and they're all different colors. You decide what colors they are. And for just a minute, we're going to be silent with our field of wildflowers, just enjoying the beauty that they are. Just getting ready to say yes. Yes to what is ours to do. So lift your heart up and sit quietly for just a little bit. Your mind wanders and you wander out into the wildflower. So now it's time to go back inside. Stand up from your chair there. And just blow a kiss to those wildflowers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking my love from me. Thank you for taking the discomfort in my body. Thank you for taking it. And then make your way back into your house, back into this chair, this sanctuary. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Amen.
Love, 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 Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say that you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do that you can learn how to feel in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, love is all Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. Nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can see that can't be shown. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. See, see. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need.
Thank you, Bree. Doesn't she have an amazing voice? Yeah. And I love that song. They use that song in Love Actually, the movie Love Actually. Are you familiar with that? It's a Christmas favorite of mine. So good morning, Unity of Delray Beach. It's great to see so many happy faces. So just for a second, I just want to say, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my God. Because who knows what's going to come out of this mouth. As I was praying and meditating and contemplating this week about what to talk to you guys about, I was in my library in my office looking at all the books, and I had my prayer books, my books on prayer, all like, in one clump. So I thought, yeah, that's it. But I want to tell you right from the get-go that the topic of prayer is not an exciting topic. I don't know if I can make it exciting for you, but I promise that if you pay attention, you'll leave here with something you can use. Do you agree to do that? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Prayer is not a topic that is foreign to us. Our unity trained minds know all about prayer. But still, it's pretty easy to allow our prayer practice to slide out the back door unless something serious comes along that grabs our attention. Have you found that to be true? So, this is not to say that we become completely oblivious to prayer, lost in the chaos that runs our minds sometimes. It's just that unless there's a truly pressing need, we may skim over a deep connection with God and just go to rote prayers, memorized words. Now I'm going to use a lot of Charles Fillmore's words today and a lot of Catherine Ponder's words today. So I borrowed liberally from them. Please forgive me, but their words are a whole lot better than anything I could say. So Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, taught and built Unity on the premise that prayer is the single most important thing that we can do to grow our spirituality and to teach us to live abundantly. Prayer is communion between God and us, His children, His kids. We're His kids. The point, the object of prayer is to know God better, to grow deeper in our relationship. Fillmore says it like this: prayer is the most highly accelerated form of mind action known. Prayer is more than supplication, and we know what supplication is. It's asking for stuff, right? It's an affirmation of truth that eternally exists. Through meditation, we experience the presence of God. Prayer and meditation together heighten our awareness and thereby transform our lives. He goes on to say that quietly entering the inner chamber of the soul, shutting the door on the external thoughts of daily life, and seeking conscious union with God is the highest form of prayer that we know. So I have stood here before and talked about going into our secret chamber, going into our hidey hole, so to speak, to pray. And I don't know if you guys have a specific place where you go to pray, but it really makes it happen more quickly if we build a routine, build a practice, like brushing our teeth, like making that first cup of coffee. If we go to a specific place and train up our minds to pray. The last time I was here, I talked about the stillness in the silence. I mentioned that I believe that silence is the language of God. And the purpose of the silence is to still the crazy activity, the wild and crazy thoughts, so that we can hear the still small voice of God. Because I don't know about you, but when my mind is racing, I can't hear the voice of God. I imagine you guys are like that too. Yeah, be like that. We might remember as we seek to enter the silence that we're entering the presence of God. It's a holy choice, and it is a choice. It's a vital choice, but it's always our choice. So when we choose to enter this sacred space in order to know our Creator, we need to recognize that we are entering sacred holy ground. Every time we go to our hidey hole, our little special spot, we are entering sacred ground with when we're doing that with the intention of prayer. Now I spoke of Catherine Ponder. Who here is familiar with Catherine Ponder? Right? She's a Unity teacher. She's written a whole I think I own just about every book that she's written. It takes up a good portion of my library. And I looked up this morning because I always want to know when people pass to the next realm. She's still with us. She's 97 and she still lives among us. So that's pretty cool, right? Her what she said about prayer is where the action is. That's what she says. When we pray, we are doing something because prayer is the most important something that we can do. And this is because prayer is the only action that we can take that truly makes things different from the inside out. Prayer deals primarily with states of mind and mental activity that rule your world and mine. Prayer changes our mentality. It first changes our thinking and calms us and uplifts us. Romans 12:2 tells us, "Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And if we are in prayer all the time, our mind is going to be renewed. But prayer goes even further than this. Prayer releases the highest form of energy in the universe as it links us with God energy as our source. Remember Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, my source, I shall not want." We may not feel the force of prayer because it operates at a higher level than we humans can feel, but it's going on whether you feel it or not. About a month ago, I went to the dentist with a toothache, and I discovered I had a failed root canal. Has anybody here ever had a failed root canal? Raise your hand. No fun, right? So I went to the thank you. I went to the oral surgeon and, we discussed my need for surgery, but I didn't want to do it till after I went on this particular trip that I had planned for months and months. So they loaded me up with antibiotics and off I went. And I prayed and I prayed the whole time. I'm off in the woods for 2 weeks, right? In the woods, camping outside, which was wonderful for me, but not if you think you're going to have to pack up all your stuff and go home because you're of your tooth, right? But I prayed and prayed. And when I ran out of antibiotics? The day I got home. So the very next day, of course, I called the surgeon and they got me in on an emergency, dealio, and they removed all the offending matter up there, and I still have a hole in my head just 2 weeks ago. But there's a whole lot of details around that particular situation. But I am grateful that I was able to do this thing that I'd planned for 6 months to do, and God surrounded my jaw the whole time. Pretty cool, huh? I imagine that many of you can speak to the power of prayer and how it's solved problems that you've had. And this is because, according to Catherine Ponder, prayer makes us irresistible to our good. Don't you love how that sounds? Irresistible to our good. Maybe you're thinking that prayer has made your dreams come true. Or perhaps your prayer ship hasn't come in yet. You're still waiting for an answer to your prayer. This is because the art and science of prayer are not accomplished in one step or one dramatic act, generally speaking. Prayer is a continuous practice which should be applied to the little things as well as to the big things. Have you ever thought, why do I need to pray for every little thing? Or maybe you don't even think about it at all. Have you ever heard the phrase, practice makes perfect? Of course, we all have, and this applies to prayer as well. And when we humble ourselves and understanding that we're not steering this ship alone, why not pray about every little thing? So here are some of the little things that I and maybe you have prayed for. I'll inquire about some pretty mundane things. Where did I put my car keys? Where did I put my cell phone? Like, we'll panic if we lose our cell phone. Where's the dog's leash? I put that new bottle of shampoo. What lotion is best for my skin? Is it time to change the oil on my car? What is the best allergy medicine for me? Should I leave the house at 8 or 8:30 to meet this person? Shall I travel this route or that? Should I call my newly created newsletter this or that? I need help writing this thank you note. Now, those are things that probably many of you don't take a moment to pray about. But praying about those kind of things strengthens your prayer muscle. And then when you get results and you're like, oh my gosh, I got an answer to where I put my cell phone. Well, that's a celebration right there. Then you'll feel more confident to pray for bigger things. I call these prayers on the go because I receive guidance or answers, if you will, if you want to call it that, instantly. And then I'm in a space of gratitude. And gratitude is a prayer that's praying all day long, too. Praying for those little things and receiving answers has strengthened my prayer muscle. And I promise you, it will strengthen yours as well. Then we can pray for bigger things. Like, is this the best time to go on vacation and spend this much money? How can I best help my son? Should I accept